Hello, for those of you who do not know me, my name is Eric Wykenot, and I will be reviewing Star Wars Episode VII, The Force Awakens. Before we get into it, I'm going to warn you, I am about to spoil everything in this movie, so if you have not seen it and do not want everything to be spoiled, stop watching, and if not, here we go. Let's get into it. So, the reason I chose to review this movie was because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. To be honest, I'm a little bit of a nerd. Make that a very big nerd, actually, yeah. So, let's start with a little bit of a history lesson on the Star Wars films. The first film, Episode IV, came out in 1977. 5 and 6 came out in 1980 and 1983. They took a little break, and then George Lucas came back and made the prequel trilogy. Those three movies came out in 1999, 2002, and 2005. And now the new trilogy has come out. The first movie, this one, Episode VII, came out in 2015. The next one comes out in December 2017, and the one after that in 2019. So, time to break down the movie. I have a couple problems with it. The first one being the humor in the movie. Some may like it, some might hate it. A lot of it was just really cheesy though. And about the first scene when Poe gets captured by Kylo Ren, he kneels him down onto the ground and they're just kind of awkwardly standing there for a little silence, and then Poe just looks up at Kylo and goes, "So who's supposed to talk first? I talk first, you talk first?" And Kylo gets mad at him. I mean, sure, haha, it's funny, but it's a little cheesy, so I mean, you make your own opinion up for that. Some like it, some don't. Also, in the film, Finn is kind of just ridiculous at times when he first meets Rey and he attempts to tell Rey that he is a part of the Resistance. There's one scene where he literally goes, "I'm part of the Resistance? Yes. Oh, I'm part of the Resistance. I am part of the Resistance." And Rey is just like, alright, this guy, sure. And it's just a little too cheesy, but it was whatever. Another problem I have with the film is during the beginning when it starts to show what Rey's life is like. She lives on the desert planet of Jakku, just kind of living out on her own in the wilderness, and what she does for a living is she goes around to different spaceship wreckages and pulls off pieces, and basically she's a scavenger. Yeah, she goes back into town with everything that she finds that day and trades it in for whatever she can get her hands on. And the movie shows a full day of her working out in the desert collecting things and then going back to town, and the merchant offers her 1/4 portion of food for an entire day's work. And then later, when she meets BB-8, who is a little orange and white robot droid, basically a replacement for R2-D2, although R2-D2 is in the movie as well. Rey meets BB-8, they kind of start following each other, and then Rey brings BB-8 into town, and the merchant offers her 60 portions of food in exchange for BB-8, and Rey declines it. How could you do that? Like, if I were Rey in that situation, holding 60 portions of food in front of me on the table, I would have looked over at BB-8 and said, "Sorry, BB-8, but see ya, you're gone." Not really, because, I mean, BB-8 kind of has the map to Luke Skywalker and all, but seriously, he'd be gone. Also, one thing that Episode VII does is it is supposed to mirror or parallel Episode IV, and this is how it does it. So, in the beginning of the movie, the main character, Rey or Luke Skywalker, are on desert planets just kind of doing their own thing. Neither of them know who their real parents are, and they both encounter a droid with some sort of top secret mission or important information that needs to be given back to the rebels or the Alliance, the Resistance, whatever. And so they get the droid, they get into a fight with stormtroopers and all that, you know, like, stuff happens, and they flee the planet and go find the rebels or the Resistance, and then they figure out, oh, the Empire or the New Order have this giant space station that's just going to kill us all. And so they use the important information to figure out the secret hidden weakness in the giant space station, and they blow up the Death Star, or they blow up the Star Killer. And by the way, is that really the best name they could have come up with? Like, Death Star, Star Killer, like, those are basically the same thing. Like, it's kind of just ridiculous how similar it is. So, also another big thing, spoiler alert by the way, the death of a mentor. In Episode 4, Obi-Wan dies. In Episode 7, Han Solo dies. Yes, I cried. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is if you've seen Episode 4, you've seen Episode 7. Do critics like the movie? Again, people are going to say yes or no. In general, I'd say most critics probably don't like the movie. Do the fans like it? In general, I would say yes. So that has been my analysis on Star Wars Episode VII, The Force Awakens. Thank you for watching.